we realize and we know that the government understands that charging them, especially people who are in their 70s, upper mid 70s, they understand that this is one step towards death by incarceration. And so we're going to say that out loud because it is the truth of what's happening. We're not going to shy away from that because we need these people to know that their actions and their abuse and neglect towards these brave, amazing rescuers is literally taking a step towards their death.
Joe Biden and the entire U.S. Department of Justice should be absolutely ashamed that this case was ever brought. They should be ashamed of using taxpayer dollars to do it. But they should also be ashamed for continuing to just turn a blind eye to the crimes that are actually being committed at the Washington-Surgi Center, as evidenced by the 5 later abortion victims that Lauren Handy and I found last year, that we recovered from Santangelo's clinic. They deserve justice.
So here we are again, back at the U.S. District Court for the third phase trial in D.C. The government is going after 75-year-old Paulette Harlow, who has a long list of physical afflictions. She couldn't make it for the second trial, and she could barely make it today. In fact, we had to end the trial early today because Paulette was just struggling just to keep her head up. Nevertheless, the government is going after her with full force, the exact same witnesses. And once again, the government's star witness was Caroline Davis. If you've been following our coverage, you know that Caroline is the young woman who participated in the rescue here almost 3 years ago to the date, but she is also under prosecution, or she was charged with face charges in Tennessee and Michigan. So Caroline made a cooperation agreement and a plea deal with the government. And just moments ago, I spoke to one of her old friends from Texas, a young lady who grew up with her in church in Texas and just happened to be in the courtroom today. And here was her reaction.
We kind of grew up together in the same church environment, kind of got to know each other a lot better in our late teens, probably heading into early 20s, and then began to spend more time in conversation regarding pro-life activism.
And then what about her work as a rescuer? Did she talk to you about being a rescuer, actually going into clinics?
Yes, she did. And I specifically remember thinking that I admired her tenacity in that. I admired the tenacity to speak out and to act for life, to support innocent lives and to protect them.
And now here she is, a government witness. She has a cooperation agreement with the government and a plea deal to testify against her former friends. Now, that's not you. You're not part of this, but you came here today and you saw Caroline for the first time in over 2 years. What was that like for you?
I think realistically it's going to take several days to process those emotions, but I think that it just felt very strange and cold to see somebody that I genuinely admired and thought, I want to be like that. I want to have that tenacity to be able to fearlessly move forward with pro-life activism, and to see that, and to also see, knowing that we had mutual mentors who poured into us to build us up and encourage us to be pro-life activists. It felt disappointing.
Yeah. And you made eye contact with her today. What was that like?
Cold.
Yeah.
and very sad.
Uh-huh. And yeah, this is the third time I've seen her testify. It's pretty much the same routine every time, but it's almost as if she's become even more flippant, more mocking of the defendants, almost being disrespectful of the defense attorney today. He was just trying to ask her some questions. I think that has really made an impression on a lot of people. It's almost as if she seems like she's enjoying herself doing this.
This is true. And while I do see that, I also, knowing her as a friend, I see her and I think, this isn't somebody that I got to know. This isn't the same person that I got to know. And that's, it's hard to see.
Your mom is a federal prisoner right now in the Alexandria City Jail. She's still awaiting her sentencing, which could be as much as 11 years. How hard is that for all you guys to deal with?
It's very hard, especially for a couple of my sisters, because they have grandkids, and my sisters rely on my mom not only as a mother but a grandmother now. And right now, all of this burden is on my father.
And how are Joan's spirits?
My mom's spirits are high, and she's doing very well. She loves the monastic lifestyle where she can contemplate, pray, and reflect on her good deeds, but also thank God for the time she did have out on, I would call, the battlefield.
So I say these federal prosecutors are murderers, just like Santangelo's a murderer. And what do we do for murderers? We fight back. We don't step down. We take direct action. And since the last trial, we've even introduced a bill to repeal the FACE Act. The FACE Act is done. Long live rescue.